Warning: the following content may contain some foul language and is intended for an adult audience. None of the claims made in this program are made to reflect the opinions of medical professionals. Jarvis Leatherby is not a physician, nutritionist, licensed psychologist, or anything similar. He is, in fact, a high school dropout and a heavy metal musician. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the Metal Monday Motivational. This is the weekly video series with the sole mission to uplift and motivate my heavy metal brothers and sisters all over the globe. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Jarvis Leatherby from the heavy metal band Night Demon. We are now covering step 7 of my morning ritual, also known as the Iron 8. What is step 7? Step 7 is reading. That's right, something as simple as reading can change our lives so much. So before I get into everything, I'm here at this beautiful beach here in Ventura, California. I've got the nice sunset behind me. My hair's all fucked up and blowing in the wind, but it feels good. I like to come to places like this when I do my reading, when I do stuff like this. We think about reading as being a task, as almost like a menial task or a boring task. I think a lot of us, when we grow up in school, we are forced to read certain books, and it just really takes all the fun out of it when you think about it. There are so many benefits to reading, and there's probably a lot more benefits than most of us know. So I'm just going to cover a couple of those things here. I'm going to watch this sunset go down here. It's beautiful out here. If you look here, I'll turn it. We can see the moon off here in the distance too, over the hill. You see that moon up there? Brilliant. Oh look, there's our little friend on the rock right there too, huh? Fucking awesome. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the benefits of reading. Okay, so science has proven that reading improves brain connectivity. There was a study that I read in The Guardian where they gave a group of people the same book. Half of them read it on a Kindle and the other half read a physical book. Now, what they realized after this, when they asked the readers questions, is that most of the people that read off the Kindle could not recall specific events in this mystery novel, and most of the people that read the physical book could recall quite a bit, if not all of it, which is amazing. That just tells you right there, the power of holding something in your hand, something from the tangible world, and how that translates from our eyes to our mind. There's also another study that I read that gave 9 participants over the course of 9 days a novel to read. And they actually did MRI brain scans on them that showed that throughout the reading period and for days afterwards, brain connectivity increased, especially in the somatosensory cortex. Sorry, did I say that right? Somatosensory cortex. Yeah, and so basically that's the part of the brain that responds to physical sensations like movement and pain. And that's just crazy to be, that's the part of our bodies that we really want to be in tune with. And the fact that reading has enhanced that in people that's a good enough reason for me right there to start reading, but to keep reading in general. Reading also increases vocabulary and comprehension. So the best skill that we can develop is our ability to communicate with people. Our communication skills are everything, and our vocabulary as well. We need to be able to convey ideas straight from our brain so that people can understand and comprehend them. We need to be able to communicate with people on a level that we can connect, and reading absolutely enhances that, no matter what you read. Reading also aids in sleep readiness. This is one of my favorite things. So I read 15 minutes in the morning, but I also read before bed. It's the last thing that I do. Now, let's let's talk about this now. Back to the Kindle or the computer or the phone or anything like this. These devices give off something called blue light, and the blue light stimulates your mind in a certain way that actually can disrupt your sleep. It's recommended that 60 to 90 minutes before bed to turn off any device that gives off a blue light like that. So what it does is, when you're looking at it, it stimulates your brain in a certain way that keeps it focused and going, but it doesn't turn off the side of your brain that you need, that you get from reading a physical book. Reading also prevents cognitive decline, and Alzheimer's runs in my family, and I'm sure it runs in a lot of yours. And I mean, obviously we want to remember things, right? We don't want to forget who we are. How scary is that? And how screwed up is that for, the family members that are left here to take care of us? Reading will definitely help that. So we want to do that. More than anything, I want to kind of bring this back to, I'm keeping this video brief because, once you start reading a book and you get into it, you're not going to have any problems. But what I want to say is, we need to be very careful about the stuff that we choose to read. Again, going back to, when we were in school, reading was a chore. Reading, doing book reports or reading a classic book that we had no interest in. It wasn't a classic for us. It wasn't a modern classic. It's just part of the curriculum and part of something that you had to do. And what's really exciting about everybody reading the same book? Like, what kind of knowledge can you share there? And you're talking about an age-old story that's been told a million times, and you go home and your parents are like, oh, I read that book and my parents read that book. It's like, I think that we need to read things that excite us, read things that get us going. So many times I've picked up a book that somebody recommended to me and said, oh, this is a great book, you need to read this. And I find myself reading a page and taking way too long. I already have some form of ADHD. Actually, it's probably pretty extreme, if you ask anybody that really knows me. But, reading a book that you're not interested in is just, I almost think it could be kind of damaging, actually, and it takes away the excitement and any kind of motivation that you have left in you to read anything. So if you're reading a book and it doesn't connect with you, put it down. If you went to the bookstore and bought a book and it's not connecting with you, give it to somebody else. It's just because you have a book or somebody asked you to read something or you went and paid for something, if it doesn't connect with you, don't waste your time. Seriously. Find something that resonates with you. I know a lot of people out there, myself included, for years, I never read books. But once every few years, there would be a great book that crossed my path, or something that I was just so passionate and so interested in, and I would find a book on it, and man, I couldn't put this fucker down. We've all had that feeling, right? Or you're just like, you're staying up all night, for somebody like me that has bad reading comprehension and probably some form of dyslexia, who knows, if I'm interested in something, I can read it in one sitting. And I think that's really important. There's so much information out there now. There's so much available for us. Anything we want is at our fingertips. But there are still libraries out there, and there's bookstores, and we can order anything online and get a physical book in our hands at home at any time, okay? So just give it a shot. Try it. You have nothing to lose. I've just given you the tip of the iceberg of the health benefits here. And if anything, just before bed is a great thing to do. I like to read comic books before bed. I like to read fiction before bed. It makes my dreams much more visceral. And, it kind of takes you out of the outer worldly. And we need that in that REM state of sleep. And, reading a book actually just makes you tired. So, why not? It's the best way to go to bed. It's the best way to turn your brain off, or at least put your brain in a different area of focus. So I'm going to keep this short today, guys. This is all I want to talk about today. I want to know in the comments, let me know what books you guys are reading and what recommendations you guys have. I would love to check out some new stuff, and I'm sure all of our viewers would. So thanks so much. If you'd like to donate to the show, you can do so at paypal.me/metalmonday. We're trying to change 1 million lives here. We can do this 1 week at a time. I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. Let's read a book this week, okay? 15 minutes a day is all you need. Thanks so much. I love you all. See you next week. Cheers. All right, guys, one more quick thing. I'm here at the E.P. Foster Library in Ventura, beautiful downtown Ventura. And it turns out that these guys are open during this pandemic. I don't know how. It says here there's a sign that they will be closed for the holiday, which means that they're open on the other days, which is pretty fucking awesome. So, library, just go do it. You don't have to spend money on shit. If you want to read a real book, come to the library. That's just a quick update for you there. Thank you guys so much again. We'll see you next week.